Hi everyone, it's Marcy. It's the 19th, I think, of July. It's the 6th or 7th Book Talk Sunday that I'm doing. And I'd like today to talk about 3 books. The first I would like to really briefly talk about is my book, Permission to Land, Searching for Love, Home, and Belonging. This went live to the world on July 1st and was really the love child of my own self-discovery and analysis and growth. I had, you guys have heard me talk about this in various forms for a while, talking about mental health and expressive writing and getting in touch with who we are and so on. And I had a tumultuous relationship with my mother, who was an undiagnosed bipolar. She self-medicated herself for years, in and out of therapy, firing therapists because she was never really understood that it was up to her to make her life happy, and that it was up to her to correct her behavior or alter her behavior if she wasn't building the life, the love, the happiness, the sense of belonging and hope that she wanted in her life. But she never, unfortunately, seemed to get the message that she had to listen to her inner voice. So I started writing Permission to Land in October 1st of 2019, and finished the first draft December 15th of 2019, 121,000 words. And what started out as a story, my story of coming to terms with my mother's afflictions and my own paralysis, my own mental illness and addiction to people pleasing and sublimating my own feelings in order to make other people happy, or my perception of making them happy. So it started out that I was writing to heal myself from my mom's issues and my problems understanding who she was, and really very quickly became my own journey through my own trauma and lack of self-awareness and so on, to making a happy life for myself, to figuring out how to hold fast to healthy boundaries and insist that the relationships that I had with my family members, with my spouse, my first husband, and then subsequent boyfriends, and my children, and most importantly, with my relationship with myself. So that's what this book is about. It's about all of those things, and because so many of us deal with similar trauma and similar problematic and toxic relationships in our lives, including not listening to ourselves, not taking the time to be quiet and listen to that little voice inside us, so she grows stronger and stronger and stronger and lets us know that we are entitled to being happy, and we are entitled to being loved on our terms, and we are entitled to say no to other people when they try to shatter our boundaries or try to get us to accept less than we think we than we deserve, because we deserve so much. You know, society tells us as women that we are only acceptable and only lovable if we are compliant and we fit in a little box, if we're quiet and we don't make too much noise and we don't make too much fuss and we're not overly emotional and we don't cry and we don't make things more difficult for other people by being who we are, that we're too much in some respects for our own good, and therefore are less deserving of being loved. And I'm here to tell you once and for all that that's some serious level of bullshit. You are enough. You are not too much. You are who you are designed to be. You are who you want to be, just by the sheer fact that you are alive on this planet and you're breathing. That makes you deserving of love, of home, of a sense of community, of belonging. And it took me a long time to learn that. What helped me was a lot of therapy. I was in and out of therapy, mostly in therapy for the last 30 years, 3 different therapists. They each gave me something different. They each gave me very usable tools, and without their guidance and support, I don't know where I would be today. But it's also because of 30 years of journaling, that expressive writing, that's my big push here. So expressive writing, writing in a journal, thinking about how I feel about things, thinking about how relationships were and my reactions to them, and how people interacted with me, and situations and experiences that I've been in, and so on, really helped me come to terms with not only who I was, but who I am, what my relationship with my mother was like when I was a teen, when I was in my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, and then since her death 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago, I've really come to terms with who we were together and the multifaceted, beautiful person my mother was, despite the fact that she had so many difficulties and had so many mental health issues and addiction issues. What I'm hearing from my readers so far is that they have a lot in common with my story. They can see a lot of parallels with my life and their own life, with their own shared experiences, and that they're finding inspiration and hope from reading my book, which is really what my goal is. Today I uploaded, they're not quite ready for publication yet, within a day or two, I uploaded the companion second book of this. It's called Permission to Land, Personal Transformation Through Writing, and it's over 100 pages of writing prompts and journal topics for you to excavate and evaluate and analyze and have fun remembering and discovering the different memories and experiences in your own life, and try to have you ask yourself the same questions I asked myself when writing this book. Have you ask yourself the same questions to create your own memoir of yourself, so that you're in touch with your past, you're comfortable with your present, and you can consciously build the future of love, belonging, and hope that you want for yourself. So there'll be more about that, but you should look for them on Amazon and wherever you buy books. Both the Permission to Land, Searching for Love, Home, and Belonging, and Permission to Land, Personal Transformation Through Writing will be available. So I want to talk about 2 other books. Very interestingly, by a married couple who I greatly admire, Glennon Doyle and Abby Wambach. The first we're going to talk about is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And both of these books were inspirational. I read them both as Kindles, ebooks, and there's Glennon Doyle's book, and there's Abby Wambach's book, Wolfpack, How to Come Together, Unleash Our Power, and Change the Game. And they both have, not surprisingly enough, because they're wife and wife, they have the same kind of message, the same self-empowering, listen to your inner voice, trust who you are kind of message that I am trying to convey in Permission to Land. They both, in their own way, tell their own personal story. Glennon Doyle was raised in a very conservative Catholic family, and by the age of 10 realized that she was different and that she had her own inner voice and her own inner creativity, and that most likely she realized without having the vocabulary for it that she was gay, and was pigeonholed and constrained into her conservative Catholic family's expectations of who she was. And this started her on a very unhealthy path of bulimia and hurting herself in that capacity. And she found herself years later in a heterosexual marriage with a man who she greatly respected but had no love and passion for. They brought 3 children into the world, and I think she learned, as I learned, that the best way that we could be true to ourselves and be the best mothers we can be is to divorce our husbands and show our children, especially our daughters, what it looks like to be an independent woman, what it looks like to create our own lives, to buy our own homes, to build our own success, to write our own books and start our own companies and bring love and light and compassion and change into the world. I loved every second of Glennon Doyle's book, and I think you will as well. And you can get a sample on Amazon if you want to read a little bit. You know, that's the really great thing about Amazon. It's the Look Inside feature. You can take a look inside and read a bit of Permission to Land and Untamed, and of course Wolfpack. Now, Wolfpack is interesting because it delivers some of the same messages that Untamed does and that Permission to Land does, but Abby does it from the standpoint of a professional athlete and gold medal Olympian. She was in the United States international, national soccer team, captain and highly motivated champion athlete. And her interesting metaphor here for self-reliance and community is that we are all our own wolves, that inner voice that Glennon Doyle talks about and that I talk about in my book. She identifies as the wolf inside of us, and that despite the fact that we can and do have the ability and the obligation really to be true to that wolf or that inner voice inside of us, we also do need others. And no one can get anywhere by themselves. No woman is an island. And so she's got the wolf belonging to the wolf pack, and that we all have to find our people. We have to find our pack to connect to inspire us, to have a cyclical relationship of inspiration and challenge and compassion with, that will help us and help themselves succeed. It's a beautiful thing. And I devoured Wolfpack right after I finished Untamed. Beautiful stories. And I could not help but notice how many connections there were in theme and in message and in story to Permission to Land. So they're all available in hardcover, in softcover, in Kindle, ebook version, and audiobook. My audiobook won't come out until August, but these and Untamed and I believe Wolfpack are available in audiobook now. So any format you want. I read all of them. I like paperback book. I like physical books, holding books in my hand. I love the feeling of that. Sometimes for convenience, I love being able to just carry my iPad or my iPhone and just plow through a book that way, especially in the dark while my husband's asleep. And I love audiobooks. Plop in my headphones and my earbuds, and I can cook and clean and drive and exercise and whatever I'm going to do and hear a story. Anyway, so that's Book Talk Sunday. It was a very few minutes. You got 3 books in one. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I love you all very much. Thank you greatly for supporting my journey and following along, and for reading and commenting and sharing and liking and all that sort of stuff. So I'll talk to you soon.